Colonel Malinath, you can start, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brigadier General Tamang from Juba in South Sudan. On behalf of Lieutenant General S. Mohan, Force Commander, United Nations Mission in South Sudan, is going to help us not just these 3 days, but ahead in our lives, overcome stress, as also help other people to overcome stress in their lives. We are extremely grateful to you. We have a large attendance here in the entire country, South Sudan, amongst us in blue uniform, and we hope to have very fruitful 3 days. So without much ado, I would like to hand over the program for further conduct. I think we have our former Vice Chief, Vice Admiral Ghurmade, next to speak to us. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Can you see me? And can you hear me?
Sir, yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
And you can see me also clearly.
Sir, yes, sir, we can clearly see you.
Okay. Right. May I continue?
Sir, yes, sir.
Special Representative of the Secretary General and Head of UNMISS, Mr. Nicholas Haysom, Force Commander of UNMISS, Lieutenant General Mohan Subramaniam, Chief Welfare Section, UNMISS Sarah George, Senior Naval Representative of India and Sector Commander, Sector South, Brigadier General Munesh Chandra Tamang, all the officers, troops, staff serving under the blue flag, overall, all divine souls. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I must say a great opportunity to connect with you directly at Sudan and at various places in the world. I want to congratulate you, each one of you, for doing a superb job for enhancing the world peace. For this reason, I also want to congratulate all those who have organized this program and connected over 2,000 divine souls with an aim to enhance inner strength for eradication of stress. Stress is one of the most common words that is being used liberally by everyone and at all ages and positions. I'm sure each one of you wants to be happy all the time and also excel in your personal and professional life. Today's session will give you ways and means to do this in a very simple and practical manner. I would request you to pay attention and understand the concept of Raj Yoga, which is different from all other yogas. Raja means king, the sovereign, and the supreme. This yoga is called the Raj Yoga because it is the supreme or the highest yoga, being true and most effective. It relates mainly to the mind, and you all know that mind is considered as the king that rules the sense organs and the body. Even a king or a person at the highest placed position who is very busy and who has so much to do can practice it, and this does not involve any renunciation of your household course or your responsibilities, or it involves any austerities or penances. As it is in the armed forces, you all work for the main purpose of bringing peace to your nation and to the world. The biggest achievement would be to bring peace of mind, which, if achieved, you can further contribute with your actions at all times and do your work in a better and an efficient manner. I have personally been practicing this Raj Yoga regularly for past 12 years since I got introduced to this, and found that it has definitely helped me in my life to meet all challenges in a peaceful and successful manner. I had challenging appointments where time management and management of large amount of resources and team was essential. I have been able to handle all of that and maintain an excellent health despite carrying out all my duties, both on professional and personal front. My experience has been that it enhances your efficiency in all fields as you conquer your mind. If you conquer your mind, you can conquer the whole world. As it is, you are all working towards conquering the external enemies that endanger the peace in the world. All your actions are to prevent these enemies in succeeding to disturb the peace in your area of operations and beyond. So the word meditation means to think. A normal person who is not under stress is said to have approximately 30 to 40 thoughts per minute. A stressed person who is facing challenges and needs to meet some deadlines would have over 70 to 80 thoughts per minute. With this meditation, when you can converse with your own self by making positive affirmations, and also you will converse with God directly, these positive thoughts easily replace the negative or wasteful thoughts. The negative and wasteful thoughts deplete your energy, while positive thoughts strengthen you. This you all would have experienced very closely in your training and day-to-day operations. This yoga stimulates creative energy. This energy gives a person the strength, willpower, motivation, confidence to face any challenge that he may face from time to time. It also enhances the stamina, willpower, and mental alertness, enthusiasm, and efficiency. And the most important fact in this knowledge is that you can question anything and you will receive logical answers from the sisters and the people who are in this knowledge. You are all aware that yoga means to unite. Yoga is therefore the practice or art of uniting or linking the mind with God by focusing attention on Him as an incorporeal being of light and thinking of nothing else but His divine qualities. My sincere advice to all of you is that you imbibe this Raj Yoga in your day-to-day life. Apart from whatever exercise, etc. you are doing, it will surely enhance your inner strength to meet any challenge that is thrown at you. You will be righteous and victorious in all your endeavors. You all may have observed in your life that whenever your work increases or you face challenges, the first casualty is that the person stops his exercise or meditation.
सर्व
That is exactly where you must focus. When you are facing more challenges
लुटा
or have
रहा
large amount of
है
work, then you
वो
must do this
वरदाता
meditation and exercise appropriately.
वरदानों
That will ensure that you will be
की
able to handle the daily
खान
challenges in a much
आओ
faster and
झोलियां
easier manner.
भर के
At
जाओ
UNMISS, if you do the meditation
अपना
and exercise
जीवन
regularly, you will not only
सफल
succeed, but also not miss any other important activity. Today, if you have any questions, please share in the chat box or your questions. Down there, all the
Normally, please be continue. Okay? By visiting it is good.
I wish you all sound health, peace of mind, all the aspects.
ना तृष्णा में ना माया में
ना बाधा में ना बंधन में
जीवन रख दे प्रभु के शरण में
जीवन रख दे प्रभु के शरण में
सच्चा सुख है समर्पण में सच्चा सुख है समर्पण में
So you can share the
पल
video.
पल है अनमोल रे मानव
जीवन तो है
Please
बहती
wait 1 minute.
धारा
This is
स्वर्णिम अवसर बीत गया तो
तुझको मिलेगा ना दोबारा
परम शक्ति का ध्यान लगा ले
परम शक्ति का ध्यान लगा ले
ना दुविधा रख कोई मन में
सच्चा सुख है समर्पण में
The security forces contribute significantly to the security, prosperity, and development of any country, whether it is internal security or external security. In the past 3 to 4 decades, rapid modernization and technology have influenced every aspect of society and life, posing multiple challenges to security personnel. In addition to these challenges, there are various other challenges in society, such as declining values, increasing natural disasters and crimes, disintegrating families, media pressure, uncertainty in life, and so on. Continuous training is essential to overcome these challenges and achieve victory with self-empowerment, thereby enhancing mental strength and resilience. The Security Services Wing was established in 2001 by the Raj Yog Education and Research Foundation to fulfill these requirements and reduce the levels of increasing stress by the development of inner power. The training programs of the Security Services Wing cover various useful subjects such as self-empowerment, stress management, harmony in relationships, positive thinking, managing challenges, sleep management, calmness in crisis, meditation, counseling, and more. In this journey of more than 2 decades, the tiny sapling of the service by SSW for security personnel has grown into a massive tree. Self-empowerment programs have been organized at every level, from command to battalion in the Indian Army. Similarly, programs on stress-free living have been organized in all 3 commands of the Navy and all major establishments. Programs on stress management have been conducted in various wings of the Indian Air Force, including the Southern Command, Central Command, and Maintenance Command. Programs on stress-free living have also been organized in all regional headquarters of the Coast Guard. Since 2014, the Security Services Wing has initiated comprehensive services for Special Indian Paramilitary Forces. We are also delighted that on this journey, many senior officials provided encouragement, inspiration, and guidance. Among them were Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Shri Kiren Rijiju, Minister of State for Home Affairs, General Bipin Rawat, Admiral Suresh Mehta, Vice Admiral Satish Ghormade, Lieutenant General Milan Naidu. In this unique journey of service, there was a time when every other day, the faculty of the SSW was engaged in service with dedication and a spirit of selflessness in various corners of the country for various forces. Their dedication, commitment, and selflessness are evident in the fact that all these entire programs were conducted free of charge. Along with field formations, once a year, a 4-day residential program is organized at the Gyan Sarovar Academy, Mount Abu, for security forces. These programs, filled with enriching and inspiring experiences, are attended by participants with great enthusiasm.
In the last 4 days, that is 96 hours, I have transformed. Though I am the same man in physical form,
Okay, please treat your juniors with lot of dignity and respect. That is very important.
And the way they have taught people, I feel knowledge should be imparted to all the citizens of the country. To go back more and more enlightened, more awakened, and you can lead a wonderful life.
Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, special online programs were organized to empower these warriors internally. The SSW launched a special campaign empowering the nation through self-empowerment for the brave soldiers of the nation. The aim was to serve greater number of security personnel through various programs. The project was inaugurated by Shri Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India himself, through an online medium. Along with security forces at various locations, their families and veterans of the armed forces also benefited. Many senior and eminent personalities continue to visit our academy. But on 3rd January 2023, it was an extremely special day for the SSW when the Supreme Commander of the nation, the Honorable President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, visited Academy. She was given an extensive overview of the services provided by the SSW to the security forces. Every Indian is grateful and indebted to the infinite sacrifices and contributions of the security forces. Strengthening these brave soldiers internally is our true respect and heartfelt gratitude towards them. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. And also see me. So it's my proud privilege and honor to introduce Additional Chief of Brahma Kumaris, BK Jayanti Didi, who is also the European Director of the Brahma Kumari's World Spiritual University and assists in coordinating the university's activities in over 80 countries. She is a spiritual teacher, much sought after international public speaker, author, and a visionary leader guided by spiritual values and principles. Sister Jayanti embodies a unique blend of Eastern wisdom and Western education and culture, imparting the deepest spiritual truths with utmost clarity. Her prominent speaking themes include leadership, environment, climate change, women's empowerment, health, well-being, racial harmony, interreligious friendships, and global peace. In these crucial times in which humanity is facing up to the challenges of change, her message invites each of us to embody a positive vision of a brighter world. Her spiritual knowledge, inner peace, and radiant love have inspired millions across the globe to empower themselves to make changes to their lives. For 50 years, Sister Jayanti has traveled widely as a speaker and broadcaster and emissary for peace to over 100 countries. She is one of the best speakers and meditators of Prajapita Aishwarya Vishwavidyalaya. She has a vision and experience that is truly global and deeply spiritual. She sees the erosion of spiritual values at the heart of the underlying cause of the crisis that the world is facing today. She has worked tirelessly to promote positive human spiritual values to all sections of the society. She has presented at many UN conferences and projects in connection with women development, the environment, and youth. May I request Sister Jayanti to enlighten the audience to strengthen themselves whilst working for world peace. Thank you.
Namaskar and Om Shanti to my dear brother, Vice Admiral Gumande, but also I wish to thank all those who have made this program possible, the UN officers and staff, and also those from the Indian forces who are there in South Sudan, and of course all of those of you who've given your time and attention to this event. So thank you for joining us. And you've had a very wonderful introduction to what Raj Yoga is from Vice Admiral Gumande. And I would just like to start by saying that the most important person to know is yourself. And unfortunately, we don't know ourselves very well at all. The same principle happens as in other friendships. If you want to know anyone else, you get to know them by spending a little bit of time with them. So a question for myself is, when did I last spend some time with myself? Can I even recall? And of course, those of you who are serving to keep peace in the world have even less time than most others. And so it's so valuable and important to make sure that I do give some time. There's somebody else whose voice is coming online. Perhaps other people can mute. I can hear a telephone conversation. Okay, I think that's gone. Please could you mute if you're not speaking online? Thank you. So giving time to myself means I'm able to give time to knowing who I truly am and to understanding and practicing the values that are so important in my life. What are those values that are the most important ones? Can you hear me now? Is this better?
Yes, Didi, it is much better.
Okay. I was trying to ensure that there wouldn't be any other noise coming through from the background. Okay. So can I give some time to myself to have a dialogue with myself and really understand what is going on? If I give time to myself, then I'm able to go deep within, and in that inner awareness, I'm getting to know more and more the being that I truly am. Can you hear me now? Is this okay? Can someone give a signal? Okay, thank you. Good. Sorry, I'm sure all these little technical things will settle. So, first step, I know myself as the physical identity, and now I need to know the being that I am. And the being that I am is the being that creates my thoughts, my feelings, my experiences, my responses, and through that I'm able to engage with the world. But also I take in all the information that the world has to give to me. And so I need to go a little bit deeper than my skin. Just go inside. And there is something there within the center of the forehead, just in front of the brain, just in front of the pineal gland, and that is the light that I am, the being that I am. Sometimes people speak about the third eye, and the third eye is the eye of wisdom, and you don't have to go to any surgery or any operation to be able to open the third eye. It's simply a question of awareness, of understanding. And what I need to do is to go deep inside. And what I do is, as I let my thoughts go inside, normally my thoughts are generated by everything I see and hear outside. But just for a few moments, I go inside. And what I can think, I can see and feel are the speed with which my thoughts are moving. Just take a moment to feel that. Going inside, what's going on? A lot of thoughts. And so what I need to do is to learn to be able to manage the speed and the quality of my thinking. All of you have had an immense amount of mental training, physical training, emotional training, and this is another step within that training. Not just mental training, but spiritual training. Spiritual training means to watch my thoughts and to be able to channel them in the direction that I want to go in. Do you know how much time and energy is wasted in negative thoughts? I'm sure you do. I'm sure somebody said something and wow, there's a trigger, and many thoughts are coming in from all sorts of places. What this person said to you yesterday, what this person said to you a year ago, 10 years ago, all of that stock that's stored inside, all of those thoughts come rushing out. But do I need that? Can I learn to be the master of my own mind? And I need to, because especially in the role that all of you play, creating peace, preserving peace, sustaining peace in the world, it's not just a question of one country, but in today's global village, whatever happens in one part of the world is going to impact many other places and ultimately the whole world also. The world is connected today in a way that we've never experienced before in the history of humanity. And so definitely my thoughts impact my feelings and my actions have an immediate impact not only on those around me, but the vibrations of my actions reach out even further. And of course, whatever happens in one place in the world impacts the rest of the world also. And so learning to look at myself and seeing what's happening within my mind is the first step towards experiencing peace and stability and strength within myself. And this is the only way to begin. If I try doing something externally, I'm not going to succeed. But if I go on this inner journey and give myself a little bit of time and space, you're giving yourself time and space now, and I know that within the next 3 days this will continue, but beyond that also, every single day, just a few minutes to be with yourself. I'm sure you're aware of a pyramid, the pyramid in which we have to juggle with work, with relationships. That includes my colleagues, but also my family, but also myself. And generally we would say that the most important thing is our work. And yes, agree, especially your work is critical and crucial for world peace, so it impacts the whole world. But in fact, if I start somewhere else, I'm going to make sure that things move in the right manner. And the way to start is to start inside my own inner world. And when I do that, then I'm able to monitor what's going on in my thoughts and my feelings. So one of the things I choose is to eliminate negative thoughts about people, about situations, about myself. And I can do this if I choose. I can say to myself, well, how does this help me? Someone said something, and this tape is going on and on and on in my mind. And feelings that are not so positive are emerging. And I don't want those. I want to have good feelings, positive pure thoughts and feelings. And so I'm using both these words. And the first is thoughts. Things begin with thoughts. And then if you have a repeated thought over a period of moments, not even minutes, moments, that it very quickly becomes feeling. And so let me catch myself at the level of thought before it becomes a feeling. And so just as you're trained to see anything that's absolutely looking a little bit less than ordinary, and you know that you have to make sure that you investigate that and you sort it out quickly before it escalates. Same thing, except now it's the inner monitoring, not the external. And so every morning, just for a few moments, just practice. And as you know, again, from your training, whatever you practice is what you master. If you don't practice, you think, oh, I know it, I understand it. But if you haven't practiced it, you're not going to have mastery, whether it's your very sensitive equipment or whether it's any situation, whatever it may be. But the mastery is first inside through practice. So if I begin the day putting the compass right, then through the day it'll be on high alert and keep guiding me in the right direction. And so I don't want negative thoughts because I don't want negative feelings. And then I start checking and seeing that, well, maybe it's not negativity. Maybe it's waste. Things that don't concern me, that I don't have to be distracted by. Can I eliminate those? And the practice, of course, is try it for 10 minutes in the morning every day and see how that impacts you for the next hour or few hours. Because from biofeedback machines, we know that thoughts and feelings don't just last for that time in which you're in a situation, but they continue for much longer. And not only are the thoughts and feelings lasting, but the impact on our physical body also has a lasting impact. Example, 1 minute of anger, and the impact on the body is at least 5 minutes. 2 minutes of anger, and it's not just 10 minutes, but it escalates. 5 minutes of anger, and it'll take you at least 30 minutes before your body comes back to a stable state. And so 1 minute in which I practice having good thoughts, positive thoughts, and the impact of that can be for several hours, in which you'll stay with that feeling of stability, calm, and peace. And peace does not mean inactivity. Peace doesn't mean being disengaged. Peace means it's an inner capacity I have to be able to draw on the responses that are appropriate at this moment. We talk about responsibility, but look at that word and put it around differently. My ability to respond. Well, can I choose what sort of response is required? Yes, of course I can. And I'm not just talking about response to the external things, but first and foremost, my own internal response. My waste thoughts means I lack concentration, and if I don't have the power to concentrate and keep my eye on the ball, I'm going to miss my target, whatever that might be. So this ability to watch my thoughts and keep my thoughts clean, pure, without anything tainting them, from negative to waste, from waste to ordinary, things can run on their own. You know, in today's world, there's so much technology. You can set things and things will carry on in the way that I've set. And so I don't need to give minute-to-minute attention to mundane things. Things will move smoothly, so long as the setting is right. And then beyond that, positive thoughts. Can I first of all have positive thoughts about myself and positive feelings about myself? Very, very important. If I don't think of myself in a positive way, what is everybody else going to be thinking about me? My thoughts are going to be reverberating and creating a way. I lack confidence in myself, and it'll be manifest in my behavior, but that's what's going to also create others to lose confidence in me also. If I have confidence in myself, not ego, that's another subject, but just trust myself. And the way I trust myself is to know myself deeply and to know my own inner values. I'll come back to that in just a minute. But this idea of positive thoughts and then powerful thoughts. And so that is the area we want to look at. How can I increase my capacity to hold positive thoughts and feelings about myself and my colleagues and everything around me. You're in a very difficult situation. It's hot, it's stressful, it's tiring, and it's relentless. There isn't a moment in which you can say, now I'm free from all of this. And so it's so important to be able to connect with the being that I am. And when I take my thoughts inwards, first just the checking, but then going deeper and deeper within myself, it's a journey each one has to do personally, individually. I'm talking about it, but you will have to experiment and experience it. It's like telling you, gulab jamuns are very nice. I'm sure many of you know about gulab jamuns, and maybe you get them, maybe you don't, but I'm sure the memory of the taste is with you. And you say, oh yes, they are very sweet, they are very nice. Not just sugar, but a very special fragrance and texture, and it makes your mouth water just thinking about it. But the point is that you have tasted a gulab jamun, and so you know what it's like. My telling you that it's delicious doesn't work. You say, oh, okay, there's many delicious things. So this whole experiment with knowing myself, it's me and myself. We can show you the track, but you're going to have to run on that track yourself. Let's take a moment now and do a little experiment. I'm going to go into the awareness of the inner being, and I'll share my thoughts with you as I do this. It's just a couple of minutes exercise. And the way to achieve the best result is if you're seated on the floor, and I see some of you are, great. It means your body is in good balance. But let yourself be comfortable so that you can sit still for 2 minutes without having to move. And if you're seated on chairs, which is also the case for some, for me too, just let both feet be on the ground so that again the body is balanced. And I'll speak out my own thoughts and invite you to follow these. I visualize a spark of light in the center of the forehead. And now I watch my thoughts. And simply watching my thoughts slows them down. And I wish to go deeper and deeper inside myself. And I do this. I go deep within. And I come to that space, that sacred space where only I can enter. And in the space within, there's a stillness. The power of peace lies here. And I realize that in my original state of being, I am a being of peace. I hold this awareness of peace and come back to the awareness of this physical space that I'm in and the situation and the things happening now. I have begun my journey. It is as simple as this. In fact, taking you through this exercise took a few minutes, but normally, when I choose, when I want, just go back in here, step inside. You're always working outside, responding to all the stimuli out there, which is important, of course. But just for a minute, going inside and just feeling that stable state of peace within is power. It's not power over anyone else, it's power over myself, my thoughts, my feelings, so that I become the master of my own inner world. And I can do this many times during the day. Every time you take a sip of water to hydrate yourself, I'm sure you've been informed that hydration is so important. You can't function without being hydrated. And so every time you hydrate the body, hydrate the soul, just by stepping inside. It takes no time at all, because this is actually who I am. I am that inner being. You see, if we were to take a description of your face, your physical form, there would be 1 million, maybe 10 million people that could fit that physical description. But you, the inner being, are totally individual. There is not another one like you. You are unique. It doesn't matter what is the status you hold, the position you have, the role you play, but the reality is that just as no two leaves on a tree are the same tree, but look at the leaves. Take a few of the leaves and try and put them together. They're all unique. Each one is unique. You won't find two that are identical. But the same is true of human beings, and not the physical form, but the being within. And the being within, the way you think, the way you feel, the memories you have, the way your consciousness works, the way your conscience works, the values that you have, they are unique to you. And so to get in touch with myself again and again, and generate the awareness of who I truly am, means you're stabilizing yourself in a state in which whatever happens outside isn't going to cause upheaval for you. You'll stay steady, you'll stay calm, you'll stay clear, and your power of discernment, your concentration power, and your ability to respond to all of these things really is going to make sure that you can deal with whatever is needed. So that's the story that we have to experience and experiment with. And so coming to that inner awareness of peace is the first step. But in fact, within this world within me, not only is there peace, but there's 5 major qualities that belong intrinsically to this inner being. And those are truth, peace, love, joy, and purity. These are the original qualities of the inner being, and I can tap into these qualities anytime I wish, just with one thought. I am the light. I am the soul. I am peace. And your own capacity will increase every time you experiment with this idea. Very simple, nothing complicated. And maybe some of these things are things that you've heard about before. But the invitation now is to experiment with these ideas and experience them. so that it truly becomes part of your natural way of being. We're so focused on being human, and the human side is something that's very connected with doing. But in fact, the human being is more than that. The human being is actually the being that's doing everything through the physical form. And so things start inside, and peace begins with me. You know, the UN Charter preamble states that wars, in fact, the UNESCO Charter states that wars begin in the minds of, it says men, it means people. So wars begin in the minds of men, but the defenses of peace lie therein also. And so, where do I begin? Peace inside of me. Just be aware that peace is a natural state for all of us, not aggression, not anger. Even righteous anger is actually unrighteous anger. But I can't justify anger. Even if there is something bad that's going, getting angry about it won't change the situation. It'll add fire to fire and cause further damage. But when there's a fire, you need to put it out with cool water. If I stay cool, then my response in a challenging situation is going to allow something better to come out rather than make matters worse. And so peace is my natural state. You can check that out in one very simple way. If I'm peaceful, what does my body feel like? It feels stable and strong. And when I'm not peaceful, what does my body feel then? Then I feel the stress, then I feel the strain, then I feel my blood pressure rising, my adrenaline rising. The body begins to feel very distressed. It doesn't need to be like that. I come back to the awareness of my natural state of peace. Even though the situation is stressful, my response to the situation can be of peace. And then I'll be able to deal with that situation in a much, much better way than I could have otherwise. And so the important thing is to know I am a being of peace, and to keep practicing this awareness time and time again. And so when I practice peace, I share peace in vibrations also. If someone is angry, then they're provoking either anger in another or maybe fear in others around them. And whichever reaction it is, it's going to lead to trouble. But if I am peaceful inside, I know what I need to do. I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm also sharing peace with others around me and creating a situation of calm. I'll share a little story with you. And this is a story about India in the early 70s. I had gone to the Kumbh Mela in Haridwar, and next morning I had to leave early, 4 o'clock in the morning, to get back to Delhi from Haridwar. And we were on this road, which was, at that time, Gurgaon was a village. It wasn't anything more than a village. But as we drove through that little village at that time, this is 1974, February, and as we drove through that village, the light was just beginning to come up around 6 o'clock in the morning. And in the distance, I'm seeing this old guy, undecided. Does he want to cross? Does he want to stand? He didn't know what to do. And then finally, and the car was not going fast, it was going quite slowly, but there's an impact, and from impacting the person, then the car ricocheted and hit a rickshaw standing on the side of the road, and from there it ricocheted and hit a tree and came to a standstill. And it was one of those ambassadors, strong, sturdy cars that can withstand anything. And we got out of the car and the car was fine. One of the senior sisters had put her head against the bench in front. They had benches front and back. And there was a little bit of scarring, but somebody was taking good care of her. I looked around and I couldn't see the driver. And from this sleepy village where there was no sound, not a peep, and one person, now I look around and I see this big gathering of men, only men, and very noisy. And the noise is not nice celebration noise, the noise is anger. And they're saying nasty things to this man. You come to our village, you do things to us, we're poor, you don't care about us, in that sort of vein, stronger language than I'm telling you. And something motivated me. I knew that the driver was in the middle of that crowd, and the crowd was getting more angry, more nasty. And so I just went straight into the crowd, maybe seeing white sari, maybe seeing a young woman. I was in my early 20s. The men parted, and I was able to go to the man, and sure enough, it was a driver, and they were about to start beating him. And I had very broken Hindi at that time. It's a bit better now, but it wasn't then. But I just put my arms in front of the guy and said, "Stop, stop, the police are coming, the police are coming." And I didn't know whether somebody had been able to call the police, but I was buying time. And thankfully, it was just enough, maybe out of shock, out of surprise, with vibrations of peace, they stopped. And within that space of 2 minutes, the police did arrive and they took the driver away. And it really hadn't been his fault at all. I had witnessed that. But anyway, it just meant that probably this man was saved from being injured very, very badly, or even being beaten to death. And so I know that in a situation of aggression, you're facing situations that are more aggressive than this, with guns and all sorts of weaponry that's highly sophisticated, not just people who are angry, but people who carry all sorts of weapons. So you face a more dangerous situation. But the moral of the story, you must stay cool. You must stay calm. Neither get angry nor get afraid. And in that calm, you will know what it is you need to do. And it will work out beautifully. So one is to discover that my own original quality is that of peace. But I mentioned 5, and I'm sure if you think about it, you'll recall them. They're easy ones to remember. And what it is that, like you've got 4 colors, major primary colors, and if you mix and match them, you get all the colors of the rainbow, the full galaxy. You'll be able to get all the different colors. Same thing. These 5 qualities are my own innate qualities. And these qualities are the foundation. Then as you mix and match the different qualities, you get 100 different virtues, 100 different values out of these. What I need to do is to get to know these qualities that lie within. And I can't do that by talking. I can't do that by reading. But I can do this exercise alone, in silence, or even within a group, with all of us going on that inner journey in silence ourselves, and so going deeper and deeper inside. Yes, there is love. Of course there's truth. But sometimes I forget. And so I get influenced by company. And I lose that love, I lose that truth. But no, let me connect with my own inner qualities to such an extent that it's not their qualities touching me, but these inner qualities touching them. Think about a boat. Why do we build boats? To be able to go on water. The boat isn't made to sit on land. But when it's in the water, it's fine. The boat in the water is good. It will take you to your destination. But water in the boat, and there's something wrong. A little bit of water in the boat, and it can become a lot more, and it can become really dangerous. And so you have to make sure that the water stays outside and doesn't come inside. I'm living in a world of stress. I'm living in a world of violence. Anything can happen at any time. But that's outside. I am the master of my own inner world. And I'm not going to allow the outside to penetrate inside. I'm going to ensure that inside I have the inner power, the capacity, the resilience, the strength to keep other things out there, but also maybe with my own inner qualities, I'm able to influence things out there. Today, it's not just a question of instant retaliation externally, but more perhaps it's a question of communication. To be able to communicate in a reasonable, calm, peaceful manner so that I can actually diffuse a situation. I'm sure all of you have been in situations where later when you go through it, you analyze it, and you ask yourself the question, could I have handled this differently? I'm sure there would have been various other possible scenarios that you came up with in your own mind. Yeah? Instead of saying this, instead of doing this, I could have done it differently. So that power of resilience and strength means that I keep my own inner state of peace, of truth, of calm, so that my response is the appropriate one to be able to maintain peace. When I begin to discover these values that I carry within myself, because very often what we've done is to block out various things. We block out truth because it's inconvenient. But then I realized that if I had responded with truth, maybe there could have been a positive difference. So learning about my own inner values means I develop a very major aspect of my own personality, and that is of valuing myself. And when I value myself, I also learn to respect myself. When you value someone, you respect them. The proof that you value them is that you treat them with respect. Same thing. I learn about my values, I experience those values, and I learn to have self-respect, which you could also say is self-esteem. One of the biggest problems in the world is identity crisis. Here I am in a foreign country with people who have a different culture, with people of many different cultures, maybe. And yes, there's a few people I know, my friends around me, but I might find myself in a very different situation where I don't know anyone. Can I maintain my own value and my own state of self-respect and self-esteem? Why? So that I'm able to hold my own dignity, so that nothing shakes my dignity. But also, very important, am I able to treat another with dignity also, with respect, so that I help them move in their dignity too. Dealing with people with respect is vital. It is, please a request to go mute if you want to speak on the phone or whatever it is. Thank you. So when I go inside and generate that self-esteem, there's no more inferiority complex. We fluctuate between inferiority and superiority. Inferiority weakens me. Superiority complexes bring ego and distances me from everyone. Nobody likes being with somebody who has a big ego. But the one with a big ego, in another situation, will feel deflated very quickly because they'll be very sensitive. And why wasn't I given the respect that I should have been? Why didn't they treat me in this way or that way or the other way? But the stage of self-esteem and self-value, my dignity is in my own hands, and most importantly, I can treat everyone around me with dignity. Not only those who I know and so I trust them, but strangers. Treat a stranger with respect, and the response you'll get from that is something which is going to be wholesome, positive. Treat a stranger with disrespect, and you're about to trigger an incident which might be unpleasant. And so, part of my journey inside to know myself and my own inner values, so that I don't have an identity crisis anymore. My identity is not based on my possessions. It's not based on my position. Today I have a position, tomorrow it might change. Today I have possessions and who knows how long I'll have them with me. Whatever it is, my dignity is based on the way I see myself and value myself. And maybe this is something which is a very big gift on the journey to peace. To have dignity yourself and to value others and treat them with that respect. We live in a strange world today, very much uncertain, very difficult to know what the next chapter is going to be in terms of geopolitics. It could go either way. Things could turn out better. Things may not be as good as I would like them to be. But having my own self-respect and valuing myself means I carry that at all times, because it's nothing external. It's the way I see myself. And so having pure positive thoughts in meditation is being able to remember these things. Who am I? Can I keep my thoughts clean and pure about myself and about others also? And in meditation, I'm not thinking about others. But if I develop this practice, then that's what I'm going to do when it comes into relationship with others also. What is the factor in the being that I am within that actually allows me to do all of this? I'm going to use a Hindi word, the buddhi, and normally we translate this as intellect. But Let me explain what I mean by buddhi, by intellect. I mean that capacity that I have which takes in information and decides whether it's useful or not. It takes in knowledge and again decides whether I want to keep it or it's irrelevant. And that knowledge which is useful for my life, as I begin to follow that, it becomes wisdom. And so the ability to retain information and knowledge which is useful leads me to a state which is wisdom. And as I follow the path of wisdom, it leads me to truth. And so I want to be able to, in my own life, follow my own inner buddhi, my own conscience. Another aspect of buddhi, intellect, is my ability to discern right and wrong. It's interesting that this is what brought me to Raj Yoga, because a very senior yogi told me at some point that we've lost our ability to discern. Our conscience has become dysfunctional. Why? Because of many, many influences. Maybe it's education, maybe it's media, maybe it's society, maybe it's peer pressure. So things that maybe at one point I would have said are right, now I question that. And maybe many years ago there were things I would have said are wrong, and today it's turned around and I say, you're right. Has that happened? I'm sure it has in your journey in life. And so I asked a senior yogi, because she said that you can't then discern between right and wrong, and there's confusion. And another aspect of that is that there's too much choice and not enough wisdom with which to make your choice. That is a leading cause of stress. Too much choice and not enough wisdom with which to make your choice. And so what I need to do is to be able to get away from that, clean the conscience so that I can actually see the difference, what is right, what is wrong, what is okay, maybe it's neutral. And so the way to clean the buddhi, the intellect, is through silence and being able to look at my beliefs. It's also the place where I store belief. I have been growing up with certain beliefs, and maybe some of these have changed through my journey in life, but maybe they haven't. And so today, I have a chance to look at my beliefs and challenge them and really find out if those beliefs stand up to challenge or not. So the role of buddhi is a very subtle one, but it's the power that actually controls this wild horse, the mind. In India, they always talk about the wild horse which races so quickly. We heard Vice Admiral Gumande talk about 70 to 80,000 thoughts a minute when there's stress, and then a reduction when there's peace and calm. True? And so it's the buddhi that actually is the one that is the reins that can tame the horse and guide the horse into a positive direction so that the destination you arrive at is a comfortable one. And so I need to look at my beliefs. And the first belief to turn around that I need at this moment to be able to take charge of my mind is, I am the spirit, the soul, not the physical body. I am that light that shines within. It is invisible, but yet it's the being that is doing absolutely everything. And so coming to that awareness of the inner being and allowing the intellect, the buddhi, to take charge of what's going on in the mind and keep it moving in the right direction. And whatever it is you decide, then of course, according to your decision, it comes through into words and actions. And that creates a pattern on the soul, but also in the brain. And both are different. Soul is not brain. Brain is separate. Brain is physiology. It's not spiritual. The spiritual part is the soul. And then it works through the physiology of the brain and the whole system. So, can I turn this around? I'm not what I see with these physical eyes. I'm much more than that. I am this unique inner being, the spirit, the soul. And in this awareness of soul, yes, then I can make sure that I make the right decisions and move things in the right way. And I can even change my pattern of behavior, thought, decision, action, and the pattern created within the soul, but also within the brain patterns that I carry. I change my thinking, I change my behavior, and the brain patterns also change. But the patterns on the soul change first. So I've given you lots of things to think about. What I'd like to do is to experiment once again with just a few minutes of meditation, and I'll guide us on the journey again. And then after that, a few minutes for questions. So, sitting comfortably, my mind goes inwards, and in that inner consciousness, the inner awareness, I come to the state of peace. I am a being of light. I am a being of peace. I select thought of peace, and I hold peace in my mind. And the vibrations of peace reach throughout my physical system, and my body becomes peaceful. And now, as I meet the being up above in silence, I connect with all the qualities of beauty and truth, of goodness and benevolence, of compassion and strength that lie within me. And these qualities reach out into the world. And these qualities, as they reach out and touch people out there, they begin to transform the world. I hold a vision of a better world, of harmony, of truth, of peace. I come back from this awareness, back into the physical dimension. But now as I return to the awareness of the physical world, I keep my experiences with me, so I may use these qualities at all times. Thank you for your time and attention, and we have a few minutes for questions. And if you don't have questions today, that's absolutely fine. There'll be other opportunities. It's a lot to digest, I know. I may be through today until your session tomorrow. You just experiment. Just be here and let the light shine. And when you look at others, see them also just here as that tiny point of light that's shining from within. So, everything clear? Not easy to ask questions, I can understand. That's okay. So thank you to the organizers, and thank you to all of you for having made time for this session. I hope there are practical things of just going inside that you'll experiment with all the time.
Thank you very much, Sister Jayanti. That's an excellent session. I think was really divine, and I'm sure all participants have benefited from this. Thank you very much. They will continue tomorrow, and may I request Lieutenant General Mohan, Post Commander, UNMISS, to give his closing remarks.
Admiral Gurbade, Mr. Jayanti, I am Brigadier General Tamang again. Firstly, apologies on behalf of the Post Commander. He did attend the session. He is out on a visit. He just texted me that he's unable to communicate. First and foremost, we are very grateful for organizing this, ma'am, sir. And please don't go by the no questions of today. I presume that we are all soaking in what you have told us. I think we are all in the contemplating mode right now. I'm sure we will get back to our rooms, we'll get back to our inner selves, we will introspect, retrospect, and maybe tomorrow you may have a stream of questions in this path which you have set us on. And I'm sure we will all benefit. And we are, sir, ma'am, looking forward to our session tomorrow and day after as well. Thank you very much from all of us here in South Sudan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all good wishes for this amazing mission that you're on, that's of service to the whole of humanity. So thank you for your sacrifice, your renunciation, and the love for your fellow human beings, and of course, Bharat also. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Didi. You always are ready for security forces. So many thanks to you also, Didi. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we can log out. Lieutenant Colonel Vikas, thank you for organizing this very much. And I think we will continue tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Well, tomorrow, same time.
Good.